Hey, it's Joe Farrow with Geek Toolkit, and today we're going to build a virtual window to our favorite video game worlds. We're going to use a projector and some recorded footage. After I show you what it looks like, I'll show you how it's done. Okay, cool. Now that we've seen what it looks like, let's talk about how to get there. We want a nice clean game look, and the first game we're going to start with is Bioshock. The first big thing that we'll want to do, I'm actually going to put the instructions for in the comments below, and that is to enable the console. Now this is me using some editing to jump into the game here, and what I'm going to do is look out this window and kind of show you the world of Rapture, this beautiful underwater world that gets rendered. I've hit tab to bring up the console. You see it at the bottom of the screen. And the first thing I'm going to do is enable flying. Now that we have flying, we can cut through walls and kind of move the camera around where we want it. The whole point of this is to get a nice scenic view. This wrench in my hand is cool for the game, but it really would be bad on the wall. So I'm going to get rid of that using a hide HUD mode to basically hide it in the menu, in the health bars in the upper left there. Cool, now I'm basically a floating camera and I can start focusing more on the cinematography of what I want to capture. Just kind of moving around here just to show you what different views look like. One of my initial ideas was to use one of these windows and try to reuse that frame on the outside, but you can see that looking through the window, it's a bit dirty. There's also a window down here, and when you look through these windows, it's much clearer, but the view isn't that interesting. What we're going to do is change the field of view. It's normally shortened as FOV. So you'll see me go into the console here, and I'll change it to widen it out a bit. Now what this will do is give me a much more interesting video because I'll have more things like more fish, more buildings, but it takes a bit of tweaking. You can see it gets a little bit weird here because I went a bit too wide, and I'm going to move out here and start tweaking it down. Okay, so after a quick edit there, you can see I'm starting to get closer. I think I'm at about 110 right now, and I think I lower it down to about 90 or so. But basically, you just do this to your heart's content until you get a good view of what you want. Now that I have a good field of view, I've got a lot of buildings, I have some fish, I've got the luggage floating down. Now I've got a nice, interesting composite, basically, of what I want to put. I'm going to hit Windows G to enable the game bar. That's this UI that popped up here, and that's built in Windows 10. That enables high-quality video game recording. And you can take that file, throw it into VLC, and you can see now we have a nice, clean, no UI, nice field of view capture here, just like we'd want. The next step of this would be to use the video I made before this to show you how to put this up on the wall using VPT, and it'll apply the window effect over it. Okay, now we're going to change gears and go over to Mass Effect 2, one of my favorite games, and there's a lot of beautiful things here. There's two things we're going to look at. So we'll toggle the fly cam here using the console, and then we're going to zoom over to the Normandy, which is the ship from the game. It's absolutely beautiful. The reason I want to show it here is when you use this technique, there's a issue in how some games are put together, and what's kind of cool is you're going to see how this game's put together, but also it'll help you understand that not everything is possible. And you might see some things in games that when you try to zoom in like this is actually a 3D model in front of a 2D background. And so what's happening is as I'm trying to view the ship, everything is kind of tearing because there's no data there for it to render or to show me. So what I'm going to do is back up to where the window fills in the frame here. But really that's about as good as I can get the Normandy from this point of view. There it is right there. I could snap a video of that, but it's not too interesting. When you turn around, you can see that things kind of tore, and tearing through the textures, I saw the Citadel. So I'm going to zoom over there because I think that might be a great video for a window, and this is what I ended up using. So there you go. That's the Citadel ship, and you have all the ships going by left and right. So basically move the camera a little bit and got locked on. After recording that for a bit, I decided to zoom around and try to find a background for my next Zoom meeting or my next Teams meeting. So here we are on the base part here. You're going to see I'm going to line up a shot. Not that one. Let's move over here. And now I'm going to change field of view. There we go. I'm going to take a picture of this or a video and try to use that in my next video call. Okay, now Mass Effect 2, I found a couple of cool things while I was exploring it that I want to show real quick. They'll actually be relevant to this video. I got really excited here because I saw the Normandy again, and I was like, wow, that's a beautiful backdrop. It's not animated, but it'd be cool for a background picture. Then I decided to actually look in the Normandy to see if it's rendered, and of course it's not, and this makes sense. In video games, you want to make everything as efficient as possible. So they used an actual 3D model, and then you've got this 2D backdrop behind it that doesn't really have a top or bottom. You can see that they rendered just enough that if you're looking out the window, everything lines up. Now there's one other thing I want to show that's another optimization, and that is they only render the parts of the level that you're in, but they render other stuff that I wouldn't expect. So let's see, here's our character. We're going to turn right and go through this door. Now keep this in mind. The characters are there. They're all rendered. They're animated. The sound's actually playing right now. They're all textured, but they're floating in space. And you can see there's a door across the way there, and there's a guard at the door. This is actually the Afterlife bar. And so again, you see characters floating in space, but nothing there. So let's go back to our player character, and we're going to switch out of fly mode. The reason this is important is if you see a certain part of the game that you're trying to capture and it doesn't look right in fly mode, you might have to actually travel to that part. So boom, look at this. We open the door and all of this is rendered now. There's an entire room here. The Afterlife bar is going. All of these characters are still there, but they're actually on the ground now. So just something I thought was cool. Okay, for the final game I want to show, this is Skyrim. And Skyrim, this is a special edition one. Console's built in, it's very easy to get going. And what I loved about this game was there were so many different scenes, and they're so absolutely wild. I figure at this point you pretty much know how to do this, so I'm going to go really fast on this, but I just kind of want to show off this game, show off some of the scenes that I saw in here. There's a teleport just like Mass Effect 2, which is very handy. It's actually a lot better than Mass Effect 2 as far as the tightness of what you can zoom in on or teleport to. And the same things that we were doing before apply. We're going to set our field of view. We're going to turn on a flying camera basically to set our camera position. And then we're going to turn off clipping. Sometimes I turn on God mode just in case I don't want to, deal with NPCs or anything like that. And then finally, Windows G to turn on game mode and do a recording. So you see me recording here, and I'll show you what this looks like in a sec. Okay, so here's another land, and I didn't capture this on the wall, but I wanted to show it because it was just really, really impressive, the lighting, and I'm a sucker for volumetric fog and anything that kind of has a glowy effect. And so this was almost like an Avatar-esque looking land. This again is still in Skyrim. This is called Blackreach. And so you see me kind of moving the camera around. I'm trying to find a good location here. I'm going to set up my field of view. And we're going to try a couple different ones. I'll show you just what the different field of views are here. I figure at this point in the video, you're just watching to see some more pretty stuff in a game. So decided to take advantage of it and kind of zoom around here. I see that purple mushroom thing in the background, and I'm just kind of going to go after that for a sec here. Now you've also got that yellow globe off to the right, and so I'm going to try to find a camera position that gets both of them. One thing to note that I learned about this while I'm kind of showing you moving around here is if you start recording and the game pauses, make sure the game has focus. Basically, click your mouse in the game window when you're recording. When you hit Windows G and start recording, it's going to lose focus, and you'll see things like the fog and any effects stop. And that animation is really something you want to capture. So make sure that you hit Windows G and get it. There you go. That was another capture I had done. And this last one, I'll just let it run while I'm talking about what I was trying to do here. I had a game room with a projector in it, and I thought, wow, it'd be really cool when we're playing games that have like almost like a dungeon in the background or something animated with fire and such. And so this is, believe this is one of the temple inner sanctums. And I was looking for that kind of like dungeon fire D&D look, and realized that this could get it quite well. This would be a really cool background for any kind of game. And you've got some NPCs moving around and such here. So anyway, that's what I was doing in here. I hope this video was fun. It's, again, a bit different, but one of the things I found out about any kind of projection mapping is the content is, as always, hard to get. And this was a really, really cool way to get some really cool virtual content. So that was my goal here. Hope you had fun with it. If you watched the last video, it shows you how to map that on the wall if you decide to do that. And in the future, I'll probably do some cool stuff using the Dynatap framework with this. So until then, I'm Joe Farrow with Geek Toolkit. Thanks for watching.